This is Joki Kagiri from Springs of Mental Wellness. Your mental health, our priority. Today I want to talk about Generation Z. Generation Z, these are individuals born between 1990 to 2010. And they're born within a span of time where technology has been highly used. And sometimes we call them the iPhone generation. So I want to give around 7 characteristics of this generation, and one of it is about, we refer to them as digital generation. Digital generation because they are born when phones were highly used and when they had already been introduced in the market. And so most of these children who are born at this time, the parent had no limitation, too much limitation when it comes to the phone, and so they have learned to use the gadget at a very tender age. However, as much as they're using the gadget, they're not using it in the normal way that you've been using it. Sometimes back, for the millennials, you ask them the importance of a phone. A phone is a form of communication, and a phone, it is something that we have been using it to receive calls, make calls, or receive information or send information. But when it comes to this generation, a phone is a gadget. It is a gadget that can be a friend to most of them, and that is why when it comes to relationship, they have very few friends. And most of the time they'll tell you, if I lose my phone, I've lost everything. To them, a phone is more like a friend. It is another friend and another part of their life. When it comes to a phone, it is a shopping gadget. It is something that they use to get different and variety of commodities within the world, globally and all over the world. So a phone is also a gadget that they have been using for shopping. It is a gadget they also use to socialize with people. It is a gadget they have been using to reach out to people, and at the same time, how could I forget? A phone is a gadget that they have been using to make money. So for them, a phone is not just a phone, but it means a lot than just seeing it as a gadget. And my characteristic number 2 for Generation Z, they are mental health conscious. They're very much conscious about their mental health. And that is why if we have a generation that has reached out to psychiatrists, that has reached out to counselor, it is this generation, because they're very, very much cautious of how they feel, their emotions, their comfortability on different issues. And this is, for example, come to their relationship. If they feel a relationship is not working, they will tell you it isn't working. And at times they're not even ready to push it on. They are ready to leave it. But when it comes to the millennials, it had reached a time that when you're in a relationship, you really have to fight for it to work out. But for this generation, if things are not working out, they are really not working out. If they're in a career they feel very uncomfortable, or it is abusing their rights, or they are not getting the freedom they want, most of the time they will quit. And they let you know that I am not comfortable to work on this job because of this and the other. And they're very cautious when they're going through hard situation. They will reach out to someone, or they'll try to see what they can do about their mental health compared to other generation. In this generation, they have a high level of self-awareness. Self-awareness in what? Self-awareness in sexuality. They know what they want and they're expressing it, and they are not really checking a lot on what the society feel about that specific area. Come to sexuality, it is diverse today. It is very open. To them, you have to define what you mean by a woman, what you mean by a man, and they also feel they can add the others. That is about this generation. When it comes to the issue of gender roles, with Generation Z, gender roles, for them, they believe they have to be shared. For example, to them, there is no definite and clear career for a man. There is no clear career for a woman. They feel that awareness that if I can cook, you can also come the following day and you also cook for the kids. If today I stayed with the kids, you can also come the following day and stay with the kids. And they feel that this awareness is like, you have to do what you can do, what I can also do. And there is no defined way on how I should behave. There is no defined way on what I should do. At times I'm asking myself, could it be the religion? Because most of us with Generation Z, our parents, they did not introduce most of their children to church or to a religious doctrine way of doing things. So most of them, even when it comes to religion, they're the ones who are looking for themselves. They don't have a definite place to go to church or to go to church or to go for worship, because the parent did not introduce them. So when it comes to the society traditions or what the society feels is right or no, for them it doesn't make sense. They have another characteristics about taking responsibility. This generation may seem like a lost generation, but when it's come to taking responsibility, they are really very much cautious about taking responsibility. Talk to a number of them. They'll tell you whether they are willing to get married in the future or not. And if they really want to get married, they'll really tell you exactly the kind of a person they are looking for. And if they're not willing to get married, most of them are going an extra mile of making future plans. They'll tell you, I'm working up to this age, and after this age, I'll look for a baby. After this age, I'll go to this and I'll go to the next. So they really taking and become cautious when it's come to the issue of taking responsibility. If you're not willing to take responsibility with them, they are like, it's well and good. I do not need you in my life. And that is why most of them may end up having very many single fathers or very many single women in this generation. This is because if someone is not taking responsibility, they're also not willing to take them in. This generation, again, they're very much cautious about money. Yes, cautious about money. Most of them are doing a lot of saving at a very tender age. It is a generation where if someone has a phone, they'll start doing their saving very early. And doing this saving or prioritizing saving, you'll find that every coin they get, they are squeezing it to fit on their plans and on their goals. They're not going to life brightly. They're going to life with a set up goal. And that is what now is creating crisis with millennials and other generation. Why? Because we do not believe in them. We do not believe at the age of 25, you can own a house. We are not getting it right. You do not believe by the age of 20, you would have maybe saved 100K or a specific amount of money. Why? To us, when you're being brought up, you're told, you grow up, go to school, do work hard, do your studies well, and after your studies, then you'll go to the field and there'll be there a job for you. But for this generation, we did not bring them in such a manner. This generation is a generation that has been brought up in a situation where most of the countries have been experiencing fluctuations, have been experiencing money issues, COVID-19 and many other. So they have learned the life in a hard way, and that is why most of them saving money is becoming a very basic thing. And they are looking for money even at a very tender age. They are looking for it. When it's come to also prioritizing saving, they are looking for money even using the online jobs. They're doing the online jobs, and they're also making sure that when they get a job, it is not a job that will be very much stressing to them. The other thing about this generation, they have a very short attention span. They don't have patience. To us, patience is a process. You have to trust for process. But for this generation, trusting the process, no. It's a no-go zone. Most of them are like, I join a process and I have to look at the outcome before the process is over. They want to see an outcome. And that is why most of them are not looking for a job of 8 to 5. They're looking for a career that I can adjust myself. If today I wake up as Irene, I feel I want to take a nap today, I'll start my job at 8 or I start my job at 10. Can be able to adjust. But they don't want a job that is fixed. I have to report at 8 and leave at 8. So for them, they are feeling they want something that is flexible with their timing. Ask them, when are you comfortable working? They tell you, maybe I'm comfortable working from 9 to 10 at night. And so they look for a job that is flexible for them. They're not ready to concentrate a whole day, 8 to 10 or 8 to 5, and then you give them the money every month. They feel they want a job that will need a lot. It will require a specific time span, maybe a very short time span, and they can readjust the time according to how I feel, because their attention is very, very little. They have a very little attention. This attention may have been contributed highly by the use of gadget, because we introduce them to phone very fast. You know how a phone works. It works very fast. By click of button, this and this has happened. By click of a button, you get something. So for them, they feel the same thing, it should happen with life. If I have to start life or I have to do something, it must not take a very long time, because I don't have that patience. And that is why A good number of Generation Z, they have anxiety. Why? Because the patience is not there, and they have anxiety that things have to happen, and if they are happening, they have to happen very fast. If they are taking a process, it is creating a lot of feeling of too much anxiety on how to cope with it. Again, they would love to start their job. When it's come to career, they would really love to start their own job and plan their future. It is different compared to the other generation, whereby with this other generation, we want to complete your school, you go to the job market, look for a job, and you get it. For them, it is different. They feel they should be the boss. They should start careers, become the boss, and they start preparing for the future. And that is why most of them today, they are doing courses that will make them to be employers, not employee. They are looking for courses that also will make them to be the boss, but not be bossed around. They want to become the boss. Again, on my other clips, I'll talk a lot about Gen Z with career. I'll talk about Gen Z with the relationship. I'll talk about Gen Z with the emotions and many other issues about them, because it is an interesting generation to focus and to think about them. And more so, we would really focus on their mental health issues, because it is also a generation that we are experiencing so many kids with suicidal ideations, so many kids with anxiety, so many kids with many other mental illness. And so as much as they are cautious about the mental illness, the things that have taken place along their surrounding have also interfered a lot with their mental health. And I'll also focus on the parenting of the Gen Z. Watch out on other videos, and you can subscribe my channel, the button below. Thank you very much.